the youth pastor switched the screen to what was supposed to be a visual graphic related to his message. Instead, what the youth pastor and every other eye in the congregation discovered
there's a lot of detail.
was that the youth student who was running the media was in the middle of watching a very graphic X-rated video from an adult website.
Dude, in the... How? Not okay, dude. Not okay.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to, once again, another episode of Youth Group Chronicles. Welcome back to the show, Lauren and Cole.
Yep.
Appreciate you coming back for another episode. Always like having you guys on the show. To kick us off, Aaron said, my biggest youth ministry fail was at the service when the parents joined the youth group for the night and I was in charge of games. So I went to the classic Minute to Win It game, Chocolate Unicorn. It's a game where... Have you heard of this one?
No.
It's a game where you stack Hostess cake ding-dongs on your partner's head without it falling. So I picked a set of parents and their kids to play the game, and without catching it, I said things like, you're going to grab your ding-dong and stack it on your son's forehead.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Wow, you're really good at stacking ding-dongs on his forehead.
Pause.
All right.
Pause, bro. Pause.
The more ding-dongs on your head, the better.
Not acceptable.
When the game was over, I had some extra unopened snack cakes, so I told all the kids in the audience to come up and grab a ding-dong. I was never asked to do a game again.
Unacceptable. Yeah. Unacceptable. On the parent night. You know, honestly, parents are oblivious. They had no clue.
Yeah. You know the kids were snickering, though.
Yeah,
they were like
the whole
chuckling
night.
in the back.
For sure. It was the whole night. The kids.
He never lived that down. Never.
No, and he was never asked to do a game again.
Good.
Sorry, Aaron. Maybe
Not
it's for the best.
Maybe.
Caleb said, a newer youth student joined my youth group, and he was always saying kind of random or odd things. Now, he had just moved from Canada to Arkansas, so a pretty big culture change. Plus, he was a homeschooled kid. One night, I was messing around with some students holding a door shut, and he said, oh, you're a trickster, huh?
What?
I said, yeah, you know, I like to pull a good prank now and again. I was not prepared for the next thing that left his mouth. He told me he also likes to play pranks every now and a while with his mom. I was like, oh yeah? What kind of pranks do you like to play? He proceeded to tell me that he tricks her when she asks him for a kiss by kissing her on the neck sometimes.
Hey, hey,
That's like one of those moments where you know you shouldn't laugh.
No,
but you're just like,
this is a teenager. This is not like an 8-year-old kid.
Dude. Yeah, I feel like there's some moments that should never leave your mouth. That's one of them.
Well, he said, after I finally got the shocked look off my face, I spent the next few minutes telling him how he should never, ever tell any of our youth group students that story.
He said, sometimes I trigger her and give her a kiss on the neck. What? No.
you said he's Canadian?
Yeah, that explains it.
Yeah, there you go.
Canadians.
They're
Is
weird
that
over
normal
there.
in Canada?
I don't know.
That's
I
how
have
they greet.
Canadians listening to this
That's
show.
how they
So
Let us know.
Is that how you greet each other? Kiss on the neck.
Kiss on the neck.
Canadian kiss. It's like an offshoot of French kissing.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, bro. That is nuts.
If you're listening to this and you want to send in a story, email us at ygchronicles@gmail.com. We'd love to feature you on the show. The crazier, the better. Mm-hmm. That's typically what we go for here. So send those in. Jason said, I witnessed a youth group sermon illustration go extremely wrong. Back in 2001, my youth pastor planned a big service called Extreme Days, and the theme was Marters of the Faith. He opened by telling a story about a martyr in ancient times. I served on the worship team, and we were instructed to go along with whatever it was that was going to happen in the service. Halfway through the service, 2 young people burst through the doors, yelling for everyone to get down. And then there was the sound of gunfire. They grabbed the youth pastor and pulled him to the stage while the youth were screaming and hiding under the chairs. They held a gun to his head and asked him if he believed in God. And when he said yes, they pulled the trigger in front of all the kids.
That's not funny.
When nothing happened, he stood up and began his sermon about what it would be like if that were a real scenario. I can remember the shock of look and terror on those kids' faces. Keep in mind, this was only a couple years after the Columbine incident.
Every kid got saved. Every kid just gave their life to Christ.
Or never came back.
Bro,
Never
honestly,
came back.
Either or.
Is it bad that I've like actually contemplated this as an example?
Yes, that is extremely
Because
Okay,
it
I would never
reminds
do it
me-
with a gun, but I
like
definitely
a knife.
No, because it reminds me of the watermelon.
No, yeah, I used the watermelon, and it was like supposed to be.
Explain this story, please.
Okay, so I was doing a night, and we were talking about like actually living as a true Christian, and one of the examples was like, hey, I was like telling this story about someone. It sounds like really morbid because this actually happened.
Yeah.
But I like was telling the story of someone who got launched off the building for like believing in Jesus. So I was like, how can I recreate like something just breaking everywhere? So I got a watermelon, and I didn't understand the amount of force it took to like break the watermelon. So I like chucked the watermelon, and it just exploded
Everywhere.
and it just went over like the front right and like top left. It was just all over the place. But I thought like, how could I really drive it home? And I was
got the
like,
point
what if I
across.
just had kids in masks come in and like, and then that was the next thought, is I'm like, I can see the emails like pouring in from the parents. Like, my kid has anxiety and you really like brought him to the edge. So I'm glad you tried that out for me, bro.
From
Make
the
sure to remember
stories
to do
I
that.
have read on this show, I can confidently say, do not recreate a martyr scene.
No.
It has happened a few times, and it has never turned out well. Caleb wrote in and said, our youth group decided to have a lock-in, which first of all is the dumbest idea any person has ever had.
Wow, strong feelings on lock-ins.
I get it.
Someone's been
Honestly,
scarred in a lock-in.
We were at the church with probably 50 kids or so, and we had the grandiose plans for this all-nighter, pizza, video games on a huge projector in the gym, etc. So everyone is in the gym hanging out, having fun, and one of the boys said he can hook up his PlayStation so that they can play video games on the huge projector. I said, of course, let's go for it. We plug it in with the volume up, and as soon as it was connected, a triple X porn scene starts playing on the huge projector in front of every junior high and high school boy and girl to see. I immediately yelled to turn it off and unplug it. Luckily, I never received a parent phone call, but it haunts me to this day.
Yo.
Yo, dude. Dude, these are like, this isn't funny. This is horror stories. Like, bro, I don't even, I'm not lost for words. Wow. Dude.
That's worst case scenario ever.
Yeah.
Like, yeah?
Part of me, knowing youth kids, I feel like it might have been premeditated.
Well,
really-
he wrote in and said more. He was like, the kid was like, no, this was my brother. Like, he had to have done this. Like, he was like backpedaling hard.
Dang.
It was definitely that kid.
Definitely, bro.
Dang, I forgot to take that out.
Dang, bro.
This is not what it looks like. No, this is exactly what it looks like.
Yeah. I mean, like, honestly, bro, like, there's nothing that youth pastor really could have done. It was just like,
No.
like, well,
I
how
wonder what
does
they
he
talked
know?
about next week.
Good question. Oh, my goodness.
I know what he preached on.
Can you imagine that kid in that sermon?
I would never come
Dang,
back. I would never.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I'd hide my face for a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Zachary wrote in and said, my friend's biggest youth ministry fail was when the church was having a youth-led Sunday. Now, this meant students-led worship, they were the greeters, they were on the media team, and the youth pastor was preaching. It was all going fine until the middle of the sermon. The youth pastor had the ability to change the projection screen from his iPad up front. And unfortunately for the student who was running the projection in the back and sound, he wasn't aware of this. At a pivotal part in the middle of the message, the youth pastor switched the screen to what was supposed to be a visual graphic related to his message. Instead, what the youth pastor and every other eye in the congregation discovered
There's a lot of detail.
was that the youth student who was running the media was in the middle of watching a very graphic X-rated video from an adult website.
Dude,
Dang.
in the how?
The service immediately ended.
Yo, bro, like, not okay, dude. Not okay. These are just getting out of hand. Like, was this sent in anonymously?
No.
Oh, damn. I'm sorry, yo.
It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't him. It was the kid in his youth group. But can you imagine just swiping your phone, trying to get the graphic? Kids in the back, like,
Dude. Damn.
I have I have no words. I actually have no words.
The whole congregation just sitting there. That's the grandmas, everybody.
Wow, I'm putting a high value on media tonight. Or in my life right now. I will now.
Yeah.
This is like there's a lot of standards we're learning through this video.
Oh yeah.
Double check the media.
Yes.
Wow. During service.
Wow. On the church computer.
Wow. Man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
connecting the
like 10
dots
times
here.
worse.
Wow. I don't even know what to say, dude.
Courtney said 1 year during church camp, a group of boys decided to prank their friend by putting Gorilla Glue on the toilet seat in the boys' dorm. I don't know if they thought they would sit down, realize it, and then get back up, or if they thought it wouldn't be that bad. So they waited for their friend to come in, and instead, another kid went into that stall and sat down that wasn't their friend. He was really in there for a really long time. And then when he went to stand up, the glue was dry and his butt cheeks were stuck to the toilet seat. He had to scream for help, and some of the other boys had to get 2 youth pastors to help him off the seat. They literally had to pry him off the toilet, and I heard that it was extremely painful. It also apparently took them a really long time to get him off, and the worst part is that the whole camp had already heard about it by the time they peeled the skin off the toilet.
Yo.
That backfired.
I just don't know
Bro.
what was expected. Like what was the expectation?
Yo. Praying for him.
Bro,
They were going to do it to their friend.
Uh-huh.
My mind is blown right now. Like I've just heard too much. Like I'm overwhelmed. There's been a lot of graphical scenes during this a lot of images that I don't want to put in your head.
Yes. I didn't know that Gorilla Glue could dry that quickly. I don't know how he didn't feel it. Can you imagine like sliding around? Like you know he felt something.
I'm not even trying to violate. He must be used to sitting on pee. He's gotta be. Like he must be willing to sacrifice his cheeks like that. So, like he was like, oh, someone left a little pee on the lid. Just kept sitting. Like, how do you not notice that?
Oh my gosh, dude.
Did he not even like notice before he sat down like that there's a line?
You can see it like probably sprayed on this.
Gorilla Glue's not like liquidy.
Dude, you
right?
sat
like,
on
it's like
that.
thick.
No, you
I don't
knew.
know what this kid
So
was
it's just
thinking.
like-
No, you knew. He committed.
He wanted the
He
attention.
sat down. He must have thought it was pee, and he was like, "It's too late. I'm already here. I'm staying."
Nothing's gonna change what happened.
Dude,
It's like this stuff dried really fast.
Wow, dude.
Oh my goodness. Jacob wrote it and said, my first year ever directing camp was my worst week of camp ever.
Yo.
It was held at a godforsaken camp in the Idaho desert, and there was about 70 junior high students from various churches at the camp. On the very first night, a kid running through the field tripped and fractured his ankle, and we had to call an ambulance because it was so bad. The parents were mad. We just didn't throw him in the back of a pickup truck. But anyway, the next day followed with a kid stealing a leader's phone to look at porn. However, there was no service at the camp, so he just took a selfie of himself on the toilet and then ditched the phone, where we later found the incriminating evidence. Every day, there were things stolen and fistfights in all of the guys' cabins. A leader also had all of their underwear stolen, and they were never found.
Dang, dude.
That's horrible. By Wednesday, kids were just peeing on the floor of the boys' bathroom for fun. So the director and I closed the bathrooms and the showers for the night and made them use the outhouse near their cabins. The next morning, we got a call from the students' parents that in a neighboring state, that the girl's brother had died in a car accident. So we had to drive that girl back to that state without telling her what had happened. This is all on top of what's already happened. That's crazy.
In 1 week?
Yeah, this is 1 week.
Wow.
To top it all off, I had forgotten to reopen the boys' bathroom until noon that day. Soon after we had a leader huddle to tell them all what happened to the girl's brother, immediately after it was over, the camp manager came to tell me that a boy had pooped in the shower, seemingly in retaliation to me closing down the bathrooms. And to top it all off, later that night, I had to explain to all the students that the girl's brother had died. And then a few days later, finished off the week with a panic attack.
Yo.
It was the worst week of camp ever. I cannot top that.
No.
Wow, dude.
And I've been to a lot of weeks of camp.
Wow, dude. I just, at this moment, first off, my condolences.
Really?
That's first off.
Sorry.
Yes.
The tough part is like when it's like a very funny moment and they just throw some like mad serious.
Yeah.
Someone died.
And by the way, someone died. You know what I mean? It's like, dang, I'm sorry. But bro, these are grade A menaces.
Yeah.
I knew these kids in high school.
Oh yeah.
Because like the locker room stuff used to be crazy. They were just like, yo, we're about to go to this camp, free food, fun time. And they were just like, screw you, peeing on the floor, pooping on the bathroom floor. Dude, they were like, they're going to have, they still talk about this among their friend group.
Oh yeah.
Remember that time we ravaged that youth camp?
Well, I used to work at this youth camp, and there was this one boy counselor, literally notorious for getting in trouble. I don't know how he still
counselor?
worked.
He was a counselor?
Counselor.
Okay.
And listen, if you're watching, funny stuff. I don't work there anymore. He doesn't work there anymore, but funny stuff. One week, and like this was like the worst week of them all. He took, in the middle of the night, him and all of his boys, they're like senior high boys, took all of their mattresses out of the cabin, put them into the Gaga ball pit after it had rained, and slept out there. And I was doing like cabin checks that week, and I walk into his cabin. Granted, nobody had been in there all week. There are like party lights everywhere, and where every single like bed frame would have been had been turned into a beer pong table.
This is the counselor?
Yes, the counselor.
Was this a Christian camp?
This is a...
This is at a Christian summer camp.
Wow.
Very conservative, but this
And
man
no
had
one
all-
knew except...
Nobody knew except for him. And he told me one day, I was like,
You know, you would think it would be the
Wow.
kids doing this stuff. I would never expect the counselor.
no, it was the counselor. And like the kids would come in Monday, they'd be like the sweetest kids ever, like super sweet, like kind.
And then he would corrupt them.
And then he would corrupt them, and they'd be like, they just knew. He didn't work the next summer.
I can't imagine why.
Surprised. I'm shocked.
But the mattresses,
Dumbfounded right
But every
Mattresses
review
got
from
it.
the students was like, yo, this
Best
guy's
counselor
the
ever.
best counselor ever.
everyone loved him.
I bet.
I can
To
imagine
this
why.
day.
He was a fan favorite. He's a fan favorite.
Russell wrote in and said,
Right.
here's how I went from hero to zero in 10 minutes as a youth pastor. I was playing a friendly game of Gaga Ball with some of my students and a few students from other churches at camp. All of a sudden, 2 camp staff flew by the Gaga Ball pit on a golf cart and tried to turn too fast or at full speed and then rolled the golf cart on its side. So my instincts kicked in and I vaulted the chest-high walls of the Gaga pit and sprinted to the aid of the down staff before anyone else had time to react. So I assisted the staff.
Wait, time out, dude, time out. You just like gassed yourself up for like a whole minute, bro. It's like everything was so. I can't even breathe, dude. He said, before anyone had time to react, I had already vaulted a chest-high Gaga ball pit. Like,
Why does this sound like Joey writing this in?
dude, just like wanted to throw in there how athletic before anyone could even react. I'd already vaulted a chest high Gaga ball pit and came to the aid.
You should
dang.
consider being an author.
Oh my goodness, man.
He said, I assisted the staff with basic first aid and then lifted the golf cart back upright.
I can't, bro. I still hear it.
Assisted both staff to the nurse's station. To my teens, I looked like an action hero. 10 minutes later, when I was able to resume the game, I hit a ball really hard toward one of the youngest and smallest students. And like a heat-seeking missile, it smoked her square in the mouth and knocked out her 2 front teeth.
Dang, dude.
Can I just say,
Dang, dude.
Russell, you are like the best storyteller I have ever heard.
Russell.
Please write a book. Please.
My favorite part was the heat-seeking missile that hit her in the mouth. That was a great description.
He couldn't miss, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you're vaulting Gaga ball pits and administering first aid after a friendly game of Gaga ball, how could you not just be so accurate? You know what I mean? Like I should have known the accuracy was going to come in there. I'm surprised it didn't hit 2 kids in one shot.
Oh, man.
Bang. I'm sorry, Russ. I'm not trying to get on you. Great storyteller. I just had to.
That was great.
So I have one more story. This is from Pastor Aaron. This is something that happened at our church.
Ooh, local.
Wow.
During the lockdown in 2020,
No.
our church went live on Facebook all
already
week
know.
long. Yeah, Lauren knows this story.
I was there.
I was put in charge of the kids' lives, and I wanted to make it fun for the kids to view during lunch. So he created a surprise segment of the show called Random Dancing. Whenever this started, you had to get up and dance to whatever song was playing, so the kids would do this at home. I gave the media team specific instructions to play Disney songs like Frozen and Tangled, songs kids would know, or party songs like the Cupid Shuffle and Cha-Cha Slide. So here we are live, 30 or so families are watching, maybe even more than that, and we're doing a cool science project, having fun, and then the random dancing slide pops up on the screen. And the song that plays drops the F word, the N word, the B word, and the A word, all within the first 5 seconds of this song. We stopped the music immediately, also the live, and deleted it all from Facebook. I have a confession. That was Ben, my brother, that played the song.
Yeah.
That was him. I don't know how the heck that got into the queue.
My favorite part of that whole thing is on the live stream. Ben didn't just end the live. He put the kids ministry logo over the live while the music was still playing, and then it like faded, and then it ended.
I don't remember, like, how did he find, like, what happened? Do you know? How did that song end up being that song?
For those who don't know, Ben and Sam and their whole family are homeschooled.
Thank
and
you.
They don't.
Wow. I'm sad
For the
that
throat
song,
there.
That sounded real insulting right there. If you don't know, they're homeschooled. Enough said.
If you don't know, now you know. And, you know, maybe Sam was different, but I don't think Ben knew culturally a lot of people, artists, rappers, specifically.
Wow. Ben's getting just shots thrown all over. I'm sorry, Ben.
So Ben decides to play the Macarena by Tyga.
Dang, dude. Dang, dude.
Okay, that's the context I was looking for.
And it's just immediately you see
making
Pastor
sense.
Aaron and Hannah look at the
Oh, Ben. I'm going to end it right there because that's a good one to end it on. Yes, I do remember that now. It's been a while since it was, what, 2020?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, guys, thank you for joining me here on Youth Group Chronicles. It was a blast having you guys. If you're listening to this and you want to send in a story, ygchronicles@gmail.com. There's a very good chance that you'll be featured on the show if I find it funny. I have to filter some of these. No, a lot of them make it on the show. And if it takes a little while, please be patient because we're getting emails every single day. My queue is just slammed with these emails. But thanks again, guys, and we'll see you next week.